Okay friends, once again welcome to Login Science. In today's video we are going to look at question 3 from May-June 2022. The question will be covering geometric sequences and sigma notation. Okay, so this is the question. It's question 3 from May-June 2022. You can see you have 3.1 and on 3.1 you have 2 sub questions. You also have 3.2. Okay, the total is 11 marks. Okay, we start with 3.1. Let me get the question again. It's question 3 from May-June 2022. Okay, you can see. This is question 3 from May-June 2022. Okay, 3.1, you are given the following geometric sequence. Okay, this one. You can see. And so on. You can see this is the sequence that you are given. It's a geometric sequence. Okay, now 3.1.1, calculate the 10th term of the sequence. You need to calculate what? T10, right? What is T10? Okay, if you want to get any term of a geometric sequence, this is the formula that you have to use to get any term of a geometric sequence. So this is the formula. Tn is equal to A times r to the power of n minus 1. Okay, so this formula is given on the information sheet together with the question paper. This is the formula that you have to use to get any term of a geometric sequence. Okay, so we want to get what? T10. Now let's get our A. Remember, A is the first term and the first term is 1024. Okay, so A is equal to 1024. And what is R? R is the common ratio. So R is equal to, how do you get your common ratio? You always take the next term, you divide by the previous term. So you can take any next term and divide it by the previous term. So I can take this one, I divide it by this one, or I can take this one, I divide it by this one. So let me take this one, 256 over 1024. And this is equal to 1 over 4. You can check it with your calculator. This is equal to 1 over 4. So your common ratio is 1 over 4, right? And now you can get your T10. What is T10 equal to? Use the formula, this formula. So you have your A, is this one, times R. R is 1 over 4, and R is to the power of n minus 1. So what is your n? Your n is 10 because you are calculating the 10th term. Your n is 10. So it is to the power of 10 minus 1, right? And so you can use your calculator to get the answer. So T10 is equal to, use your calculator. I'm going to use my emulator. This is my emulator. Okay. So I'm going to plug this in there and I can get my answer. I hope you can follow as I do it. And this is to the power of 10 minus 1, which is 9. But let me put it as 10 minus 1, like this. Okay. And what is the answer? The answer is 1 over 256. Okay. So the answer is 1 over 256. Okay. So this is T10, right? Now let's do the next question, which is 3.1.2. Okay. Let me make a line here. Like this. And 3.1.2. I'm going to do it here. Now you are given this sigma notation. Let me get it down. This one, right? The one you are given. And the question is to calculate the sum of this. Okay. Let's close this for now. Okay, so you need to get what? The sum from p equal to 0 to p equal to 8. Okay. You have to calculate the sum of this from p equal to 0 to p equal to 8. Okay. We can get the expansion of this sigma notation. Okay. Let's get our first 3 terms. So this is equal to, let's use the calculator to do this quickly. Okay. So you are going to use the general term in front of the sigma symbol to get your first three terms. So you have 256 times, in bracket you have 4 to the power of 1 minus p, you can see. So you start by substituting p equal to 0, right? You start from p equal to 0, you can see that. So you replace your p with 0. So you have 1 minus 0, right? You close, and this is equal to 1024. So this is your T1, your first term, right? And plus, you have plus because this is a series, because you have sigma notation, which stands for sum of. This is a Greek letter which stands for sum of. This is why you must have plus, because you are getting a series. Okay, now let's get the next term, which is T2. So after substituting p equal to 0, you are going to substitute p equal to 1. So you start from 0, 1, 2, 3 until p equal to 8. But we want to get only the first three terms. Okay, now I'm going to substitute my p with 1. So let me do this. I'm going to delete the 0 and put 1, right? And the next term is 256. Okay, plus. Okay, now what is the next term? After substituting p with 1, I'm going to substitute p with 2. Okay, so let me do this. I'm going to replace my 1 with 2. Okay, and the next term is 64. So you have 64 plus and so on. Okay, let's close this. So you get your first three terms. R, what is R? Remember the common ratio, you always take the next term, you divide it by the previous term. Take any next term and divide it by the previous term. So I can take this one, 256 over this one, and this is equal to 1 over 4. Just like in the previous question, you can see. And we have the same terms, you can see. Okay, so this is our common ratio. Now, you need to know how many terms you are taking the sum for. So you need to get what your n, what is n equal to. So n is the number of the terms you are taking the sum for. So to get the number of the terms you are taking the sum for, you start by taking the top value, which is 8, minus the value at the bottom, which is 0, plus 1, and this is equal to 9. So you always take the value at the top minus the value at the bottom plus 1. And then you have the number of terms, right? So you can see from here, we are going to take the sum of 9 terms. So you have S9. So S9 is equal to what? We need to get S9. This is the formula when you are calculating the sum of a geometric series. When you have a geometric series, this is the formula to use. Sn is equal to this. You have this formula on the information sheet together with the question paper. So S9 is equal to, use this formula. What is your A? Your A is the first term. Remember that. A is the first term. And this is the first term. So your A is 1024. This is your A. In bracket, you have R, which is the common ratio to the power of n. So the common ratio is 1 over 4. To the power of n is equal to 9. Because you are taking the sum of 9 terms. You are taking S9. So this is to the power of 9 minus 1. You close the bracket over R minus 1. R is the common ratio. So this is the common ratio again, minus 1, right? And this is equal to, get a calculator, just plug everything in the calculator and you are going to get the answer. So S9 is equal to, let's use our calculator. So I have my emulator, which I'm using, this one. If you need it, please check the playlist, the one saying educational software. You are going to find a video which will show you how to download this software on your PC, okay? And you can use it. So let's plug this in the calculator and get the answer. So you have this, 1024. You have this in bracket, 1 over 4 to the power of 9 Hope you can see that. Minus 1 over 1 over 4 minus 1, and this is equal to 87,381 over 64, like this. Okay, you can also get it in decimal. This is equal to, what is this equal to? When you check it on the calculator, it will be 1,365.33. So now the next question, let me get the question again. It's question 3 from May-June 2022. Okay. This is the question. Now it's 3.2. Okay. 3.2. Okay. You are given the first two terms of a geometric sequence are this one and this one. You are given the first two terms of a geometric sequence. Okay. So you are given this one. You can see negative t squared minus 6t minus 9, you can see, and you're also given this, right? You can see it. Okay, now the question is determine the values of t for which the sequence will converge, right? 5 marks. Okay, you can see you have t in there. You have to determine the value of t for which the sequence will converge. Okay, let's close this. Okay, so this is your t1. T1 is equal to this, right? What you have there. So let's get it in a very simple way. Let's factorize this. So this is equal to, you take negative 1 outside of the bracket. So you have negative 1 like this, and you open your bracket. So you have only t squared plus 6t plus 9. You close the bracket. So I have factorized negative 1 outside of the bracket. You can see, and this is equal to, you have negative 1, you open two bracket, you need to factorize this. So you have t times t will give you t squared, and this you factorize it into 3 times 3, right? And you must have the same sign because you have positive there. The signs inside the bracket are going to be the same as what? As positive, right? You are going to have positive there and positive there. Okay, and this can be written like this. You have t plus 3 and t plus 3. You can just write it like this, t plus 3 to the power of 2, because you have two of them. Okay, and your t2 is equal to this, right? Let's get it in a very simple way. Let's do some factorization. Okay, so this is equal to, you have 1 over 2. There's an invisible one. When you put this in bracket, you have 1 in front of the bracket, right? So you have 1 over 2, and you can factorize this part. This is a polynomial of the 3rd degree. You can factorize it. Okay, if you plug 0 in there, you can plug 1 in there, you can plug 2 in there, you can plug negative 2, you can plug all those terms. Okay, I'm going to show you how to factorize this, but let's do this quickly. If you plug negative 3 in there, so you plug negative 3 in the place of t, you're going to see that this is going to be equal to 0 when you plug negative 3 in there. So when you plug negative 3 in the place of t, this is going to be equal to 0. So you can see that there is one factor, which is t plus 3. Remember, when the negative 3 goes inside the bracket, it becomes plus 3. Okay, so because when you plug negative 3 in there, this is going to be equal to 0. This is why you have one factor, which is t plus 3. And so you can factorize this. You have another bracket, which is a quadratic. So for you to get t to the power of 3 or t cubed, you need to get t squared there, because t times t squared will give you t cubed. And for you to get 27, this 3 must be multiplied by 9. So you must have plus 9 there. Okay, because plus 3 times plus 9 will give you plus 27. Okay, and inside here you have plus 6t. Okay, so I'm going to show you in details how to factorize this. For now, we are trying to do sequences and series. Okay, I'm not going to cover that in this video, but I'm going to show you how to factorize these polynomial. I'm going to make a video where I'm showing you how to factorize this. So that video will be in the playlist grade 12 calculus and polynomial. Okay, for now, let's do this. Okay, so this is how you factorize this into this. And this is equal to, you have 1 over 2 times this. Can you see you can factorize this into 2 brackets, because you can see this is the same as this, and we factorize it into this 2 bracket. So you can also have like this, t plus 3, just like this. And this is equal to, you have 1 over 2. Can you see we have t plus 3, t plus 3, t plus 3. You have them 3 times. So you can write it like this, t plus 3 to the power of 3, because you have 3 of them. Okay, so you have your t1 and your t2. Okay, now let's get our common ratio, r. The common ratio is always the next term divided by the previous term. So you have t2, you divide by t1. Okay, the next term, you divide it by the previous term. And the common ratio is equal to, what is your t2? This is your t2 over, this is your t1. It's over t1. This is your t1. Right? This one, you have it there. And what is now your common ratio? Can you see you can simplify? You have t plus 3 2 times, and you have t plus 3 3 times. So you can simplify these two with 2 at the top. You only remain with 1 at the top. So this will go, and let's just get this 3 off, and you only remain with t plus 3 at the top. And so this is equal to, you have the negative, so you bring it to the top. It is negative, right? You have this t plus 3 times 1, so it is t plus 3, right? It's times 1 over 2. Okay, so this is your common ratio. Now remember, the question is saying, can you see from the question? The question is saying, determine the values of t for which the sequence will converge. Determine the values of t for which the sequence will converge. Okay, so if r is in between -1 and 1, in other words, if r is less than 1 and r is greater than -1, then the sequence will converge. Okay, the sequence will converge if r is in between -1 and 1. So from here you can see we have to get our r in between there, and from there you can solve for t. Okay, so you are going to have an inequality. From there you can solve for t. Okay, let's get our r in between there. So you have -1, this, right? And r, your r is this. You have it. This is your r. R is equal to this. And you have this, and you have 1. Okay, so you carry on. Can you see this is -1, and you have that sign, and this is -t, -3, right? -t, -3, -t, -3, because the negative is affecting everything inside the bracket. Okay, and this is over 2, and you still have this and 1 there. Okay, you carry on. What you can do is to get rid of the 2. What you have to do is to multiply by 2 throughout. So you multiply by 2, you get -2, right? You multiply the -1 by 2, you get -2, and you have this. You multiply by 2, the 2 will cancel, you only remain with this, -t, -3, right? And you have this. You multiply by 2, you have 2, right? 1 times 2 is 2. So from here, what you have to do is to take the -3 to the left and the -3 to the right. So when you take it to the left, it becomes +3. You take it to the right, it becomes +3. Okay, so when you take it to the left, it becomes +3. Now you have 3 minus 2, which is 1. Okay, and you have this. you remain with only negative t, and you have this. You take it to the right, so it becomes plus 3. Now you have 2 plus 3, which is 5. Okay, now from here what you have to do is to get t only, not negative t. So what you have to do is to multiply by negative 1 throughout. Okay, so when you multiply by negative 1 throughout, this becomes negative 1 and this becomes negative 5, right? So in between there, you remain with t when you multiply by negative 1. So we have t in between there. Now you have to pay attention to this. Always have a smaller number on the left and a bigger number on the right. Always, you can see 1 is smaller than 5. You can also see here negative 2 is smaller than 2. You can also see here negative 1 is smaller than 1. So when you are dealing with this type of inequality, you must always have a smaller number on the left and a bigger number on the right. Okay, so when you multiply by negative 1 throughout, you are going to have negative 5 on the left and negative 1 on the right, like that. And so you have this there and this, you have it there. Okay, so always make sure you have a smaller number on the left and a bigger number on the right when you are dealing with this type of inequality. Okay, and you have solved for t. So when t is in between negative 5 and negative 1, the sequence will converge. Okay, you have solved for this question. I hope it's clear the way I explained it. If you find value in the video, please show that with your likes. Comment in the comment section. Remember to subscribe and activate the notification bell so that you know when new videos are released. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.